Go With Your Palate, episode number J-Lo.
J-Lo.
And now we're going to wet your palate with what we talked about. So we got a special guest, John Lopez, director of winemaking. We've been working together for a couple decades. Really happy to have you. He's told us his life story, where he came from, where he's at.
Where I'm going.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
We'll talk about when they went to Argentina.
Yeah, we went to Argentina. We got to go back to
2024 harvest. That's where I'm going.
We got to go to the box.
They're going to the box.
It.
New York.
New York.
Yeah, we got to talk about some of the winemaking shit we've developed over time, building of crews and teams.
And it looks like, hey, you could be a criminal justice major, get that degree, and then you get into winemaking.
You can grill quesadillas the wrong way, and then we can do that as well.
Or the right
I'm not going to let you live that down.
Okay, we're going to talk about that. Actually, I want to know what people think about that.
And then get to hear our little challenge from Chris, the rapid fire beverage and food pairings.
Dude,
sometime in this thing. So
I loved your guys' answers too. You guys actually do know what you're talking about.
Really?
More or less.
Yeah, I thought you were bullshitting the whole time.
Oh, you want to talk about the box?
I do, because I'm still waiting to go. All I've heard is
you
stories
don't
about
want
the
to go to
box.
the box. If anybody is curious about the box,
I've been to the box. I've been to the box.
Dude, I had no idea what we were getting into. This is all on Alex, okay? Alex crushes it in Manhattan and New York for us. Awesome saleswoman, and she's got just a bright fire, like always on the go, always wants to hustle.
Kick ass.
And so she's like, "We're gonna bring you to this place called the Box." We're like, all right. She's like, "Don't look it up online. Just you're coming." So we all go. It's like me, John, Rachel, and then I think her boyfriend and maybe a couple guys from the distributor.
Yeah.
And so we get a table there, and it's like a full on circus.
Yes,
but
just brought it up on screen, some pictures.
But a raunchy circus. And the funniest part was there's like some girl doing a bathtub show, and she's all butt naked. She's with the end of a brush, like a scrub brush.
Yeah, we're doing this.
Okay, we're doing it.
You got all quiet.
In front, she fucking on the crowd.
Wow.
Yeah, we're like, what the fuck is happening? This is insane. And so at every show, it was like every 30 minutes a new show would come on, and they were crazier and crazier. Finally, we got out there like 2 a.m.
Okay.
We're like, I don't need to see somebody. I don't need to see somebody shit on a table.
Okay, but you did.
He got all excited.
Did you see poop?
I did not see poop, but I heard it was coming.
But you left before the poop? No, because I did hear that it gets crazier and crazier each show. And then I heard from Alex, she's like, yeah, I cut out of there at like 12. Joe stayed.
That's bullshit.
We stayed.
Did we stay?
Yeah.
We stayed after Alex?
For the bubbles, you must have stayed.
I think we did,
She's
Joe.
Like,
I think we did.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, we were.
But,
that was
okay. Look, it's okay. You stayed till the bubbles, but you left before the poop. I think that's a good advice for anyone. Unless you're into that, that's probably gonna come up at like 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if that's your time slot?
And the place is not cheap. That's the other thing. It's like people pay like 10 grand for a table to go to this thing. Wow.
I'm glad
we veered off on this one.
We just take tangents. Anyways, so the Miami story. I think this is a good tangent.
What do you?
How did you go from the box?
The box to Miami?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, that's just how we do it.
No,
we do hard turns.
The other trips, like we've done Argentina. We started that project. We've done that a couple times.
Tell me about Argentina.
How many years did you go down there?
I went.
Because I think you went 1 year without me.
3 times. I went with Polly twice.
And only one time with me?
I want to say
two.
Yeah, so I've been there 4 times.
Why are you guys going to Argentina? Because I want to know.
We first started with this whole cryo extraction thing. Well, maybe I'll back up a little bit because people are going to like to hear some of these stories. Like, we didn't know what cryo extraction was, right? That was kind of an accident thing in the mid 2000s, which is like using the freezing. We were using dry ice and seeing benefits, color, phenolic concentration, all that stuff. So that evolved into like, holy shit, we're going to use this in all of our production for reds. And then it turned into, we can actually like bring fruit from anywhere in the world frozen to the benefit of quality and produce the wines in California. That's where the idea started. And so we started with Argentina. Now, before that, we had our difficulties with production space because we were cramming the fuck out of the winery. Like every year, like we had the Pinot programs were growing, the cab programs, everything. And we were just like, we would crush fruit into like 5-ton gondolas and just put it in the vineyard, tarp it, and be dry icing it because we wanted to pick at optimum maturity where like we can keep it frozen and cold or like not not frozen, but near frozen and cold.
Ran out of space.
Until we have tank space.
Yeah.
And so that would be like we're trying to make sure every wine was dealt with perfectly. Yeah. And that was the best option. But, I mean, there was a time I think we had a couple 500 tons maybe we're on the ground, crushed in fucking trucks. Like
in the middle of the field.
In the middle of the field, like
and
lined
fermenting,
up.
we did punch downs in semi-trailer trucks, getting in there, get your feet in there, start punching things down, fermenting, taking breaks and temps. I love this because those wines turned out to be great. And that's how we learned about, cryo. No one would do stuff like this. And this is...
It just took grit. We were like, we got to pick this. What are we going to do? We're like, we'll find a fucking way. Yeah. And we did. It was a blast.
Did you mention something about like tours, or he would be doing tours, and wasn't there like wine filled to the top of the tank?
Oh, yeah. So, Joe had a very smooth way of, bringing grapes in, and he knew we were full.
Yeah.
Like there's no more tanks, but he'd call me, we're running around. We're building Mayomi, and there's Belgloss up and coming. And he's all, I got 5 more trucks coming at you. And I'm all, okay, well, there's no tanks, and they're not going to finish fermentation. So, oh, no, I know you got this. You got this. I'm all right. So we go and basically stuff every single tank of Pinot. It's fermenting. We put grapes on top of it. And this is how flavors and all this happen. So we stuff them. I'm able to stuff 5 trucks in existing fermenting tanks. I'm just stuffing grapes, and we're going.
And so this is for Mayomi, which is 3 counties. So we'd have to keep track of how much was if we were blending Monterey with Sonoma.
Right. All the Monterey would go to Monterey tanks and this and that. So we had that whole obstacle to track to do it appropriately. It's not just stuffing. But then he's, I'm going to do a tour tomorrow. Are you going to be around? I said, yeah, I'll be around on Saturday. So literally the grapes are sitting right on top of the manway on the very top of the tank. And I'm like, please, God, if this shit starts fermenting, it's going to look like popcorn out here. They do. He brings the group over, and the one tank starts pop, pop, pop. And it starts throwing grapes up in there like a volcano. He's like, hey, John, I think we got a problem over here. We had a problem when you shipped the 5 trucks, so I couldn't tell him that. I can tell him that now because I'm still kind of sore about it.
We had to do pump overs
to keep the caps down.
We'd have to pull down, pull out the fermenting juice from underneath, run our pump overs, and then refill it with the juice.
Yeah,
just to have enough headspace to work the cap.
And we brought in tanker trucks. We have a very good relationship, so we brought in tanker trucks. So we can put the juice in and pump it back in the tank. Like actual tanker trucks parked at our place. Yeah. And we did rack and returns.
And how much space, just for like people listening, like to have an idea, how much space would you usually have? Because there's
you probably depending on the type of tank, you probably want 3 feet of sidewall minimum. And preference would be even more than that, like 4 or 5.
I've seen more than that usually.
And so you got to draw out your cap forms, so you have all the solids up on top, all your skins, and that's what you want to work because that's where you're getting everything to make a red wine. So the colors and phenolics, right? And so if you can't work that cap, you're pretty much making rosé underneath a cap of skins. Yeah. So you got to drain all that out. But the beauty is a rack and return, which means you rack out some of the juice.
Yep.
Or all of it if you want to, and you return it back over the cap. So we actually started incorporating that into our program because what you could do is you could take out, so let's say 50% of the juice that's fermenting and chill that down to keep the fermentation going slow and do a pump over in a concentrated environment where now you have this skin to juice ratio that's totally like off the charts. So you're getting this massive amount of concentration in this portion that's fermenting on the skins. And then, 6 hours, 8 hours later, you return the now chilled fermenting juice back over the cap. So you would do that multiple times in a week.
So what you're doing, Pinot accelerates. A tank will ferment in 5 to 6 days at best. We're actually slowing the process down, and we did it kind of knowing and unknowing. We would chill the juice down, not starve the yeast, and then now you've slowed down the juice. It's not fermenting like 18, 17, 16 bricks. Now it's kind of stuck at 18, 17.5, and you have a whole day. You're extracting the pumice on the cap with this minimal juice. And then you fire it back. Now you're at like 10 days of fermentation on Pinots. So there was a lot of positives to be learned about what we were doing.
Positives that came out of the necessity of cramming fruit into a winery.
Having tanker trucks work as tanks where you're pumping into them, because we had no options. We just had to make it work. I mean, Maomi and our brands were growing so fast that we outgrew the floor plan immediately. But we just kind of kept it to ourselves. And it goes to the story where we were building all these experiments in tanks, superheating caps and building
chimney tanks,
and then suppressing the caps down. There was a particular vintage where it was just Joe and I, and not just Joe and I. We had the stability of our crews that were really tough. They're badass. They're the same guys we have today. And no one calls in sick. And I knew I kept taking like Tylenol or Advil, and I wasn't feeling good. And we were trying to chain this experiment of a grid where we push the cap down on an open top. And I had no more strength in my hands, but I couldn't tell them. And I was taking Tylenol, and it wasn't, or Advil, anything to kind of help me because I wasn't feeling well. So I grabbed the chain, and Joe goes, "Tie the chain, dude. Like, what is your problem? Like, what's going on?" And I said, I don't have any strength in my hands. And he goes, "Okay, you need to go to the doctor." Ended up going to the doctor. He says, "You have pneumonia, dude. You've had pneumonia." And he
you had it bad.
Yeah, because we worked outdoors. So you're outdoors working in the rain. You're doing everything. And that's just what we did. But I wasn't going to complain to him that he's out doing it and he's out in the vineyards. And so I took about a week off. I was back into it. But those are the kind of stories that they're pretty fun. I couldn't do that again because I was in my young 40s.
They were pretty fun? Dude,
they were pretty fun.
Crazy,
and I was like,
dude.
Okay, I'm not going to miss out on the...
I mean, there's like part of it's
He's like Goggins over here.
When you push you take pride in it, right? Like you're like, I pushed myself way too fucking far.
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't get worse, but like, because that could be a very like serious complications. But like, you also... Like when you're just like, fuck it, I did it. I worked through it. We got it done. And like you, I think you took it to the last minute, John. I think you were like right at the. I think you were right at like the point of like, you're going to be hospitalized.
No, when I went to the doctor, he gave me an IV and they give you all the medication. He showed me the fluid in my lungs, and I go, okay, so I can go back to work. I can take medicine. He goes, so he actually got mad, and I still remember. Thank God he did. He goes, you need to sit down. So he showed me the X-ray, and he goes, You can die from this. This is stuff people die from. Like, you can't take this lightly, and blah, blah. And then he goes, all right. He goes, get back in there. So he gave me an IV. He goes, okay, so I'm restricting you from going back to work for at least a week. So it was a week, and I was back to it. But when you're in that moment and you're doing what you're doing, it's pretty cool. I mean, I share this story because there's a few people out there that have experienced similar things. But it's a drive. It's a high.
Yeah.
You work off a high, and we were doing great things, and everybody was doing it. It wasn't just me. Joe was doing it. My guys were doing Poli.
But I
Miguel,
remember that, like, the chain binder, because like John and I worked a lot together. Like, we knew our strength. We knew what we were physically capable of. Like, we were hoisting buckets of dry ice to the top of the tanks, like hundreds of them a day.
Yeah, we made it competitive. We got one whole bin, and I'm dying up there, and Joe's like, I got this.
And so we're trying to strap this chain down to hold this basket that's in the inside of a tank to keep the cap submerged, like John was talking about.
Yeah.
And so you got those chain binders, right? You probably see them on like trucks that are hauling tractors and stuff. And so I got mine locked down, and we're trying to do it at the same time. And John's like, I can't do it. And I go over there and I do it. I'm like, dude,
it's not that hard.
You like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's but he wasn't showing it. Yeah. And I think, were you using that Theraflu shit?
Yes.
That was the worst.
I was taking the medicine, so
you were suppressing it.
It wasn't. getting everything out, and the doctor told me what he'd been taking. That's the number one thing. He said, "You're not supposed to suppress your cough. You're supposed to get it all out."
But you said this was mid-2000s, right?
Yeah.
That Theraflu, mid-2000s
Yeah, but it's the only way
was the shit. They had
it's
to
the only
take that
way
off the market.
Did they?
Oh, yeah, dude. I think they may have re-released it with
It's
the
the
new
only way
makeup.
I could sleep because we had like
That
3
shit was
hours of
crazy.
sleep.
Yeah.
So I would take it and I would sleep like a baby.
Meanwhile, you're
yeah.
collecting a whole bunch of fucking
get
liquid
up
in your
like, oh shit. Yeah, but just some fun stories. People go, "That's pretty stupid." It's not pretty stupid. It's just what we did, and we just went after it, and that's why our brands are who they are. It's
Well, and then the Argentina thing where we started this whole thing. So that was, but that was
But that was
a
the
perfect
Miyomi story.
little,
That was the Miyomi story I wanted to
but that
get
was a
to.
perfect backstory to
Yeah.
like where
Argentina
we're
is
at
great.
today. So Argentina, so we go down there and like we get our job done. We've already got the fruit secured. We know what we're doing. We're getting it, whatever else. So checking out the maturity and all that stuff, and like absolute blast. If you haven't been to Mendoza, I highly recommend it. It's totally different than any other part of Argentina, but it's all about like beef, goat, red wines, and the culture is awesome.
Yeah. And we stayed right in the center of Argentina, the Park Hyatt. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you drive out like an hour to Uco Valley and see these beautiful wineries and amazing vineyards and everything.
You were checking out some Malbec, right?
Well, yeah, we're making Malbec. We're actually
making
just about to
Malbec
release.
then? Yeah.
We're actually about to release a Malbec right now from Uco Valley.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
no,
and it's fucking bomb. The stuff tastes so goddamn good. But I'm not trying to pitch for anybody listening. It's called RRCL if you're looking for it. RRCL Malbec from Uco Valley.
chat picture.
No, so we go down there, but like we also made friends down there, like Mariano, like these guys, and like so we're doing like barbecues at their place and whatever, and it's like just straight up old school.
Chivito.
Yeah.
They grilled this chivo, baby goat.
And so
with the mesquite. It's just
So we go out to the nightclubs. I think that was with Mariano,
they left early.
yeah.
We wore them out, so they left early.
and holy shit, I think we were on like day 4 or 5 or something.
We're looking like
We were
we're not
looking
looking
bad.
good.
I think
That's when Charlie Sheen was big.
That was Tiger Blood.
Yeah, Tiger Blood.
Yeah.
We're trying to outdo Charlie Sheen back in the day.
God,
and,
don't try to outdo Charlie Sheen, dude.
we're doing a little Tiger Blood and
But like the club was so busy that like I talked to the bartender, finally got a hold of him. I'm like, hey, we're just going champagne tonight. Yeah. Every time you see me, I'm gonna make a paper plane out of this, however many pesos it was.
we couldn't get to the
because we couldn't
bartender.
get it. So I was like, I'd throw him that, and he'd throw me a bottle of champagne.
it had money in it. It had a few hundred.
The paper plane was
We'd
it was
set
money
money.
every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So
were pretty good at paper planes though too. So I'm sure were you hitting your mark? Like
I was every time.
Were you setting up the wings so it would do like a little flip?
No,
first
I
and
just-
nothing
I wanted to
fancy?
make sure
You
he
was
got
This
it.
was like a straight
If
direct
it was
shot.
five
Okay, I
five
like
or
it. I
8
like
feet
it,
away,
but,
I just want to.
you know.
It went in.
So we're there, and I felt like this club, like the floor.
Oh yeah, it was bouncing.
Was bouncing down, like it was on the second floor of this building,
Oh.
and so you could feel it flexing as people were like jumping, and I was like, oh shit, we're not in America, like they don't have building codes
It was
like
all
we do.
the college students coming out of the university to this particular club.
Yeah.
And they're just bouncing. And I told Joe, I don't feel good here because everybody's like really good looking. They're like, they speak Spanish, and then there's a diversity in there. They got green eyes in this. And I'm looking for support. I'm like, there's just a bunch of hot people in this place. And I go, so Joe, like, what are these all? Well, when like you get hot people, like just keep moving around. If you're feeling ugly, just kind of move around. Like just keep moving. I'm all right, thanks, Joe. Like this is great. And just
Meanwhile,
he told me to move
ugly
around.
people
It's just-
Very interesting advice. Please explain.
I know. Please explain.
I'm all Joe, man. Like you're talking about models here, and the dudes look like Baywatch guys that are gonna save you when you get really fucked up.
Yeah.
And I go, hey Joe, like there's like this place is like just like Hollywood, and he goes, I don't know, just keep moving around, dude. Don't stand next to like really hot people. I'm all right, thanks.
oh, that's what I did. And then my night came to an abrupt end when I was like day 4, day 5 of like really going hard because it was like we were out in the vineyards all day, and then we were out.
We slept like 3 hours.
in the casino or whatever. Like it was.
Our hotel had a casino.
It was like Harvest, but add a bender on top of Harvest.
Yeah.
So like one of the last nights, like we're at a club, and I'm like, go to the bathroom. It's the first time I ever sharded. That put an end to my
at
night.
the club.
At the club, dude.
Oh wait, but where were you when you sharded? Like on the
No,
dance
I was
floor?
I was in the bathroom. Fortunately,
Okay, at least you were in the bathroom.
yeah, I had to fucking throw my underwear away.
Yeah. Oh, you threw.
It was weird.
But you saved your pants.
I was able to save the pants. I was like, oh shit, that was
Did you
more
have to
than
do
a
some
fart.
rinsing or anything? Like,
Nope, I just fucking shoved them in the garbage, and I was like, hey, John, I gotta go.
But meanwhile, you're just trying to chase John around the club because he keeps moving.
I just kept
John,
moving.
John, no, wait, stop, John. No, he's like, I can't stop.
I kept
Too many
moving.
beautiful
But
people.
before he had his issue, I was, we were both in a similar state. He
On
made
the sharding? Sorry.
no.
Oh, sorry. I
Just at a state where we should have left the club.
Got it.
Yeah. But it could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
So he finally makes it to the bar, and he's trying to get there. He didn't quite make it, and I'm all, we need water. Like we got to be able to.
Hydrate.
We need water. So, I get the paper,
paper
airplane. So I shoot it to the guy. He catches it, and it has a tip on it and everything.
Yeah.
So it said water on it. We need water. Like literally, he's like, yeah, and he pops some more champagne, and I think that's what caused the final injury in the bathroom.
Oh my god! But
Yeah.
he said you champagne. You're like, fuck it.
Yeah, we drank.
You're
We were
like,
like,
I guess
okay,
this
it's not
is
gonna
our water
happen.
now.
And you know
Yeah.
what the drink was down there
What?
at the time? It was Red Bull and sparkling wine. Mm-hmm. That's what they were. That's what they were like pounding down there. It wasn't Red Bull vodka. It was Red Bull sparkling. And I'm not kidding.
Art shake his head.
It tastes like garbage.
Oh, of course it
It is
did.
so bad.
That is a recipe for sharding. I really right there, Red Bull and sparkling wine mixed together.
Yeah, it was not
I remember.
good.
Remember that was also too when Jaeger bombs were big, too.
Jaeger
I mean, not
bombs,
there.
well,
You're in Argentina,
I mean, in
but
the U.S.
I
we
don't
have
know.
Four Loko already.
I know. Yeah, all
Which-
stuff.
yeah.
All stuff that would shart you.
We had to do a FaceTime with Gina Maldonado. She's Joe's assistant. I didn't know. I had some, cool Ray-Bans, but I guess I shattered one side of them. So there was like one side was shattered, and we were coming back from the vineyard, and Joe hit some barbed wire, rusted. So he had a big slash. I mean, you hit it hard. And then he had a red bandana, because he had to stop the bleeding. And we had to call Gina, and she could see us through the video.
Yeah.
And literally, we saw her face, and she says, you guys don't look okay. What is going on? Literally started getting doctors like, here's your doctor, Joe. John, I don't know. Do you know that you're missing like a lens almost? Like there it's and I wore it with pride, because I had a little piece of the glasses and could see through it, but I was like cool wearing my shattered glasses. But we got scolded by Gina. She's all, you guys are out of control. Then your sister showed up the next day.
That's right. My sister was doing an internship down there.
Yeah.
And that was I think that was the first time she ever saw I think she always thought I was maybe not that wild, and I was like, yeah.
She was like, wow.
I'm over 40 now, so I don't do that shit anymore. But, yeah.
I'm 57, but I think I'm always stuck right at 41.
All right.
It's never going to change. It can't.
It can't. I don't think it's going
You
to.
can't lose your fire.
No, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man. That's why I was wondering. Do you moisturize? Is that your?
No, I'm an exfoliator.
Is that it? Really?
Yeah,
Are you?
yeah. Yeah.
You're just taking off the skin.
Yeah.
New skin.
Yeah, I use the apricot. That's why.
No, for your face though.
I'm talking about the whole body. We'll get to the face in a second.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no.
John doesn't fuck around.
Oh wait,
He's-
the whole. Okay.
Red
I like
wine,
that.
green tea, and you got to exfoliate, and then you got to live like a rock star.
Yeah,
He found the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
And it's not with drugs or whatever, Botox
Yeah,
and shit.
I know.
It's like,
Normal
Heck yeah.
highs.
That's
God
good. Yeah, I
forbid
know.
if I did drugs, it would be all over Rubio.
No, I know.
It's a natural high, and sometimes it's too much.
Red Bull and sparkling wine. That's a shit right there.
Have we even got to some of these subjects, Rubio? Are we good?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you. Came from a criminal justice background, and you're a juvenile probation officer, right?
Yes.
So I just want to know: do you have any stories you could share from that, or how did that? Because it's just really interesting.
Yeah.
I just think you're there, you're enforcing the law, you're a man of the law, and then all
Well,
of
I
a sudden
try to
you're
enforce it mostly. I was one of the smaller probation officers, and back then, you had to get a little physical.
Oh,
so you had a lot of kids that are 18. They play high school football, and these are big kids, man. 220, 240. You had smaller kids, and then it was a co-ed facility, so you worked with the female probation officers and females. But what I took out of it is, do I really want to get physical every day I come to work? Do I want to have to write a report? do I want to do this? So I got really good. They called me the negotiator. Because I got really good at quelling situations that didn't need to go there. And I really believe this. I came out of college, and we had a lot of old school guys that are great guys, ex-football players, ex-college NFL players that were big. And that was the era we lived in, like it's my way or the highway. So I was the transition guy that came in and said, hey, we really don't need to go here. Like, let's be more... it sounds kind of funny, a little more communicative, and let's figure out what's really going on. So that type of environment of dealing with very high stress created me enjoying working with people. Funny part, as I'll tell you some funny stories. So I almost got my ass kicked by a female. It was close. It was a good battle. What? Yeah, she was tough.
How old was she about?
Oh, like 18 and under. But
holy shit.
Have you ever that's not how we were brought up. We were brought up as 4 boys that my parents said you cannot physically touch each other, you can't punch each other because that's how they came up. You're going to, so okay, but
that's got to be hard being confronted by a girl.
She had
like,
military boots on. They're allowed to wear. She had her count. And she didn't. The one thing that I learned in my profession, a lot of what you deal with is not really what someone's telling you. It's just a reflection of what they're going through. So I got this. So she was calling me a bunch of names. And all I remember is I had one of my favorite shirts on. And I go, shit. Like, man, my shirt's going to get messed up. This girl's big. And the other probation officers, they just backed off. They wanted to see. They're like, let's see.
Oh, are you for real?
Let's see what's going on here, tough guy.
Oh,
so
man.
all I remember is I said something to her. I said, hey, don't make it personal. And I remember hand went to the shirt, and then I didn't know how to deal with a female. Like, I didn't know where to grab her. And so I kind of backed off. All I remember is like a cartoon. All my buttons flew off. Tick, 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 tick. And they went all over the ground. And then then she grabs me, and then it's a dogfight. And I'm like looking, I could look over.
She's punching you like closed fist.
Yeah, she's trying to punch, but I got her hands. But I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to grab her.
Yeah.
So finally I turn her over, and I go, guys, I need some help. And they're like, okay, dude, really? They kind of let it go a little bit. And then we quelled the situation. But just some kind of funny stories that would happen there. And my whole point is you learn to deal with situations you're very uncomfortable with, and they kind of make you better. And I enjoyed it. And after a while, when situations came about, they would call me in there and go, okay, can you quell this down? I got it. So I'd go and then quell it down. It was all good. No problems. No paperwork. No issues. And it was good. So that's kind of things that would come about that department. And I was good at what I did there, and I enjoyed it. So
that's got to be hard to because I would imagine that, just about especially every, boy that's in there, like juvenile boy that's in there is like pretty aggro, like they're ready to throw down.
Oh yeah.
Testosterone.
And like to be a guy, maybe you're in your like mid-20s as a probation officer, you're like, you're not gonna be like, I'm not gonna back down. I'm gonna fucking punch him back like that. And then you got a whole slew of problems. So like,
no, so it was good.
To take that approach is way better.
Yeah, and a lot of the kids, I saw them around, and now I'm out of touch because it's many years. But it was all good. It was all good. I built a program where you didn't have to be super aggressive, and I had a guy. I was in charge of like 16 kids in one hallway, and one guy came out and said, and I'm tired of your shit. I'm just gonna kick your ass. I'm all, well. You can do that. I mean, you're 220, but I don't think it's a good idea because, your whole crew here, they're going to just get locked down. I'm going to bring you out for lunch, and you can enjoy your lunch after you kick my ass. And everybody's going to be locked down because of you. And you're going to feel very special. And so I learned this.
Oh, dude.
Everybody, he went right back in his room, sat down, and I said, and you're going to apologize. So he apologized. And then everybody goes. So all these, I had a really good rapport with very tough kids, very good kids. They just were experiencing difficult situations. So taught me a lot about people. Don't judge people by the cover, of the book. And that's why I enjoy like what I do now. being successful in any business is having the ability to get the best out of people and having them believe that you're taking them in that path. And that's Copper Cane, man. It comes from the top. We all believe in Joe, and we're going in the right direction. And we fight. So it's cool. It's cool, and I enjoy our environment.
That makes a lot of sense. Actually, thanks for sharing. Because now it makes a lot of sense why you're really good at what you do.
That's it. Yeah, dealing with difficult people.
Because that shit,
but it's very rewarding, and most people don't want to do it. It takes a lot of time. You have to invest time that you don't have, and I've learned that if you don't do it, it'll come and get you. Like disarray happens, and then you can get corporate really quick. So you have people that you have to guide, and you have to put the energy. If you don't want to be corporate, you have to put the energy. Everybody feels like family, and we do. And once that's gone, then you're just like everybody else. So it's exciting.
I think it's like even to teach people that there is a way to have a conversation about anything without making it offensive or like without elevating emotions. Like I didn't have the ability to do that, like in with a probation sort of.
Right.
I think my ex-wife taught me
what did she teach you?
how to quell any situation. I got this.
Okay.
That was
Very
when you
common
first start.
training.
You just start with like calm down. No, that never works. No, but it is good, and I see it. It's funny though. Like some of the guys I've seen in our crew that are on for over 20 years, they've picked up that same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mention any names because there's a lot of them, but like there are some specific dudes that have just been like you've seen it, and some of them were fucking like little pricks
Mobsters.
when they first started out. Like they were like you're like theft, fighting,
Fighting.
a lot of shit talking,
Assault with a vehicle.
Yeah. But you know what? But you know what? You know what? We
To
gave
commit
him
bodily harm.
we gave him
My old
a,
terminology.
gave him a chance.
Yeah.
And told him like, no, you gotta like guide them in a different direction. And now you see them guiding the next gen also, which is great.
And that's fucking cool because it's also you're big. That's what I love about you're big on these kind of second chances. That as human beings, and we come from different upbringings and can be a little rough around the edges. These guys, like you're talking about, these stories. You're coming up, but you believe in them, and you can kind of show them and show them, hey, now you can prove yourself. And it is crazy to see how they evolve, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're in just such an intolerant society now. Like overall, like it's zero tolerance in many cases.
Yeah.
You work for a large corporation, you say one wrong thing, you're booted. Like, I mean, it's like, well, how is somebody going to learn? How is somebody going to like evolve? What do you just expect them to go back on the street and like be a punk or a thug or whatever? It's like, no, you like got to see that. No, there's good things in everybody, and how do you bring those out?
Yeah. And to compliment that, it comes from Joe. I brought a certain part, and Joe accents it, and he feeds that positiveness. We all make mistakes. We all go too far once in a while, but I believe in second, third chances. You deal with a lot of bosses that go, I fired that guy. I'm never proud of any of that.
Yeah.
But you just second chance, third. I rather have a little egg on my face and know I did the right thing than go, I got rid of this guy, or I did that or that. So
puff the chest. You're like, oh,
I did that.
There's
there's no pride. No one's proud of doing anything like that. And that's how we're built. Like you do get a second chance. You get a third chance sometimes, depending on what's going on. And that's
we've gone
important.
fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, there's this cancel culture that you say or do something wrong and then you're banned, you're out. How does that work? And again, I don't want to get sidetracked, but that's not who we are. We're like real people. Like, wow, did you say that or did you do that? Yeah, okay, well, probably not a good thing to do. Let's go. You take all the qualities and you base them. Like, what does this person bring? But you don't take that one thing and then it's all over.
No, you're right.
You continue to
people
work.
Get one piece and
you
they
build.
Don't,
and you know what you get? You get a more honorable group. You get people that are loyal to you because they go, wow, anywhere else they would have just. And now I can take examples across the board, starting with myself, going, God, if I didn't get that one little, hey, dude, you need to chill out or this or that, like we would never have what we have.
Yeah.
So really important. And it's a very fine line, but I think we've lost that as a general work environment. And but I believe that Caymus and Copper Cane still have those. It's a wisdom that you can't go to school for it, and you can't read about it. You just got to know how to do it. And that's why Copper Cane is really special, because there's guys, you can't ask guys to go fight a fight that no one would fight and then nitpick at them and go, you're out of line, and then you just replace them. That's not who we are. You back them to the top of the mountain, and then you go, probably not the best route on that one, but bring it back, and then you just go. And that's the beauty and the specialness of our company. So it's great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of makes me think about when we're talking about this intolerance, and there's people being judgy and stuff. I didn't want to ask you how you felt about Joe finally reaching his true dreams as becoming a wine influencer. The winemaking was just this, like, I look at it as like a lily pad.
I like this. I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I wanted this opportunity. You didn't know this.
John was the beginning of it. John was the fucking beginning of no.
So can we just bring up the first video?
I'm going to go easy on Joe, because what I did was never filmed, so thank God.
Yeah.
But then he went, I wonder if you filmed this. Before the video goes on, I'd like to say that it's nice to have a boss that is again, not afraid to like push envelopes and all the TikTok and all this stuff. I think it's awesome to understand that you work for a company where you can kind of expose yourself, and then you have fun and you do this, and that's everybody wants to be like that. Not like that, but we all want that freedom. We don't want to be scared. Like we're reaching a point where you're like, oh my God, like somebody can cancel me and it can affect my company, and this it should never be that way.
That's how it is everywhere now.
Yeah. And you asked me what I think about him reaching all this. I think it's great that there's someone that can put out there that we don't have to live in a shell, and we don't have to conform to things, and just be yourself. And it allows me to breathe and continue to be who I am, and allows my guys and our guys to be who they are. So something to be said for that. We make fun of it and we poke at Joe, and I love that he does all this fun stuff.
And I know it's like to people that are like overly professional in the industry, they look at it like it's dumb and it's a joke, and it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? But like, John, when you get out in the market, it's the same thing. And the reason people love it is because you're not some suit walking in telling this is the box of shit I got to talk about.
Right.
It's like you just are yourself, and that's what people, because I think our society is so lacking it. People are so in need of it.
Yeah.
And so when you're actually like walking in and just being your real self, they're like, shit, this guy's fun to talk to. You're like
I went to Sacramento, did a dinner, and it was a storm. I was not late, but I was barely on time. So I have to use glasses now. I left my phone in the car, so I needed light. I forgot all my notes. So I just go, I got to go out there. So they give me this prompt thing I got to read, so I can't see it. I don't have a light, and I got this. So I just had fun with it. I brought somebody up. I go, who wants to hold a flashlight for me? And then I had somebody come up. I go, who can read? I had somebody read it for me. And then I just stood there, and everybody became part of it. And that's how you do it. But honestly, if I worked for a corporation, and I'm not smashing corporations. There has to be a balance.
Yeah.
You always have to have balance. But again, I'm crediting the style of how we work. I might have been reprimanded for something that would turn out to be very cool, that everybody felt involved, and I had them read the wine notes and talk about them while I commented on them. They might go, so John, you were there like 5 minutes before. You forgot your notes. You weren't prepared. I was prepared, but I want to have fun with it too. I don't like reading notes. You're more spontaneous. So again, complimenting our style of work is my whole point. And
Well, Joe hit me with a good saying one time when I was talking to him about the same kind of thing with presenting and everything. And he said, a lot of times, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like, if I go up there and I hit 70% of what I wanted to say, then that to me is success, right?
Yeah, that's it. I used to try to, I used to write out everything because I didn't want to read off notes. So I would just write everything out in bullet points that I wanted to convey. Mm-hmm. And I realized I'd put so much pressure on myself to hit every single one of those things. And by, I don't know, late 20s, I was like, I know all this shit. I'm just going to talk about it. And if I only hit, and see where it goes, if I only hit, 3/4 of it, then that's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
Because nobody's going to remember it or retain all that information anyways, right?
Yeah.
But the stuff that matters is read the room, see what the crowd is like, see what they like to hear. And I mean, I do cherish my moments that I get to get in the market. And I probably am out there 6 to 8 weeks a year. It just takes a little more now. I mean, it probably used to be 3 or 4 times a year. But wine industry is having a hell of a time right now. So getting out there and being the person telling the story behind the brand, all that stuff is very important. And same with you getting out there and telling the story. People react so differently to that when it's somebody who's actually involved. So, but yeah, just hitting those main points, I'd say 70-75% is very solid.
Yeah. And I brought up we like to give, and we've talked about that, give each other shit. I think there's a difference between when you have a brotherhood and you give each other shit, but then there's a chance, and I brought up the social media thing, is because what I have to give kudos to Joe about too is that he does put himself out there. Yeah. He's not playing it safe. He's just being him.
You guys don't need to compliment me on this.
I'm not. No, don't worry. I'm about to shit on you, dude. I like to bring you up.
It's actually,
I like to bring you up, and then I like to take a big
It's
dump.
Actually really awkward when you compliment me. That's not normal.
Don't talk to me when I'm about to take one. All right. But yeah, then you have people, but they, we like to bring up sometimes the comments, and people will ask great questions that Joe is ready to answer. There will be, a lot of people that love him. He has a big, the Bears really love him too. I don't know if you, but in the community, we love the Bears too because they love his hairy chest and his hairy back.
Rubio, one last note, I had to bring it up because we talk about it, is so we're all, we're all friends here, and working at Caymus, Joe introduced me to Chris Rubio. You guys are very close friends, cousins, or
no, just friends.
Friends.
Our parents were friends too, though, when they were childhood.
Yeah, Mr. Rubio lives right off 128 as you drive into Caymus, and Joe and I used to. Well, I'm going to blame Joe. Used to have the key to the tasting room to Caymus, and so we would have a little fun here and there. And then I've known Chris for a long time, and I'm good friends with his dad. A lot of respect for his dad. Very proud man who served for our country. So it just happened. The stars lined up. Rubio showed up. It was Joe and I, and I hope Chuck's not listening. He doesn't watch this kind of stuff.
No, he doesn't.
So we did a number on the tasting room, and I got a phone call later, but I went in full denial. I never talk about Joss. I don't know anything. But we ended up, we were hungry, so the grill's closed. So Ruby goes, hey, let's go to my house right up the street. So I don't know if we took a cart. We drove motorcycles, we walked, however we got there. We were safe. We got there, so we decided to make some quesadillas. So I realized Rubio's half Mexican because he has tortillas, but he doesn't have a comal. A comal is where you put the tortilla. And I'm like, you have tortillas, but how do you warm them? And he probably had some kind of Tupperware, Teflon thing where I go, no, man, you have La Luna next door. You got the iron thing and you put the tortilla. So to make a short story here, we ended up making quesadillas just with a natural burner. We smoked out the house a little bit, had quesadillas. There's a mess where I saw his dad the next week, and I didn't know he sold me out, but he did. And he said, hey, John, I heard you guys visited, cleaned up the kitchen. There was tortillas and cheese and quesadillas you guys made. It was quite a mess, but thanks for visiting. But Rubio, come on, get it together.
Sell you out, dude. We woke up at the crime scene. We're just all passed out in the crime, stuff like that.
And also, I'm sorry, but I thought that I was expressing my Mexican heritage by just doing it straight up on the burner.
That's super old school.
I think it was super old school.
Your parents do live next to La Luna, and they sell them, and it's much easier. Yeah. But
My dad gave me a talking to.
Good. But just one of the many stories of family, friends. Just
Why didn't you tell your dad? But Dad, we didn't have a comal.
I know.
We like put it on him. Be like, dude, aren't you Mexican?
But I think your dad appreciated that we visited, and it was a lot of fun. So just one of the million of stories.
I know, and that's the good times. I cherish those memories. Those were fun. Mm-hmm. It was worth the belt whooping. We're definitely gonna have to have John back. We have like so much to talk about.
I know. We didn't even like cover the list.
Yeah. Okay. Because I want to go over when you come back, we're gonna go over TikTok comments, and we're gonna have
we should do like a mid-harvest podcast.
Yeah, and we need a harvest update.
We'll do a harvest update, and then you can see what we look like when we're totally ragged.
Yep.
Hell yeah! All
right. Black under the eyes.
All right, stay tuned.
All right.
But real quick, before you go out, because Joe says he had to go, and I just love to keep him when he has to go.
Fuck you, Chris.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so really quick, we're just gonna do a really quick game to close this one out. Okay, guys. So you have like 3 seconds.
Yep. I'm
just gonna name a varietal of wine or some other beverage, and then you're just gonna give me your perfect food pairing. You have 3 seconds, whatever comes to mind. Okay?
And you're gonna swap between.
I'm gonna swap.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, but so this will be Joe. You'll be first. Okay, with this one. Ready? All right. Napa Quilt Cabernet.
Man, I'd got to go butterflied filet mignon with black and blue with a pepper crust. Yeah.
John, Napa Valley Quilt Cabernet.
A ribeye steak.
You like the fat?
Yeah. Fatty.
Yeah.
Cab cuts through it. It's good.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Here comes the second one to you now, J-Lo. Belglas Pinot Noir.
Okay. So we have a variety of vineyards out there. So I'm going to go with...
let's say Clark and Telephone.
Clark and Telephone. I'm going to go with mushroom chicken.
Right.
Yep. With Christmas spices, a little earthy on our Clark and Telephone. Little eucalyptus, cloves, rich palate that can handle that.
Ooh, I like it.
Look, if you're going vague about this, like all of the Pinots, any of them, I'd say my pairing would be lamb, like a rack of lamb with like a Moroccan spice rub. And just,
a Moroccan rub. I like that.
Yeah, you gotta get the Moroccan rub. Just like that really nice, like brown, really exotic spice character with that lamb, that little gaminess, yeah.
Okay, like it. All right, Joe. Now you do have an Albarino coming out.
Yeah.
So what would you be pairing with that?
My wife.
Nice, J-Lo. That was it. Albarino.
I'm gonna stick with ceviche.
All right, now this is okay. Now here comes the heavy one. Okay, John.
Yes.
What would you pair with Maomi Pinot Noir now?
Ooh.
This is 2024.
With the Maomi?
Or 2023.
The vintage.
Yeah.
They're not vintage.
Nothing.
Oh, they're not even vintage anymore.
Nothing.
Okay. And Joe, he was just nothing.
I would use it as a reduction sauce for a dessert.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, very sweet.
Yeah.
It's very sweet now.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
So on that note, I would use it to add back to wine to get more tannins and oak on my blend.
All right. Nice. Like it. All right, now here we go. Joe, back to you, okay? This is White Claw. Lemonade blood orange with a hint of black raspberry.
Is that really a flavor?
Just want to note that this is wine enthusiasts' top flavors. Yes, they do rate White Claw.
Can you tell me the flavors one more time? This is all one flavor.
This is one flavor.
Okay.
White Claw lemonade blood orange with hint of black raspberry.
Shit. I guess Ruffles?
Ruffles.
An onion dip? I don't know.
Okay, Ruffles and onion dip. That's it. That's all you got. All right. J-Lo, back to you. That White Claw, lemonade, blood orange.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say I would have it with pancakes.
Okay, that's a nice breakfast.
That's
we all know how J-Lo wakes up.
I'm not a White Claw guy, so I don't even know where to go with this. So it's not my thing.
Well, this one's in for you.
It's not my thing.
How about this? J-Lo, Modelo.
Oh
yeah.
Nice. Carne asada or birria. Yeah.
Like it. Joe, Modelo.
Dude, I'd probably go with fish tacos for me. Like grilled fish tacos.
Sweet.
With something like pickled onions.
Ooh,
I
pickled
like that.
onions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Roasted jalapenos.
Okay, we got 3 more. Okay, this is really quick. Okay, now Monster Energy drink. Go, Joe.
Bad decisions. Pairs great with them.
You're just drinking that going out.
I don't think there's no.
How do you pair that?
No pairing. I mean, that's
You just have you have an espresso after it, so you can be polished off.
Yeah, I think you just you'd pair a Monster with like a Prime.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, why not?
Monster with
What would you do your Monster with?
Yeah, that's you know what? A Monster with coffee. I don't know.
Monster with coffee.
Yeah,
Shit.
with an espresso, dude. Just,
Dude, we're talking
just
food.
killing
What
it.
food would you?
I would not do Monster with any food.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I can't even fake it.
Okay, I got one right here. Franzia.
Oh boy, Franzia. I don't know. Just pick some kind of fish, any kind of fish. I don't know.
Is any?
Any
Like
kind
fish,
of
like fish sticks, like
fish
fucking.
sticks, monkfish.
Did you say fish dicks?
No, I said fish sticks.
Oh, okay.
But
All right, I was just.
I don't think do fish have dicks?
Oh wait, shit.
See, I got you on this one.
I don't know.
Fuck.
Yeah.
When you come back, we're gonna do some
let's-
research.
yeah.
Joe. Okay, we're gonna Franzia.
I like the fish sticks idea. I'd probably go with that or like chicken tenders.
Okay. Nice.
If like I'm going like white trash, total all out. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Whole milk. Joe.
Oh, I got this one.
cookies, chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, see, that was the
Yeah.
first thing.
Peanut butter and jelly all day.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, peanut butter and
okay.
jelly. Gotta have it with milk.
I like it.
Chocolate, peanut butter and jelly, or just milk everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I like it.
All right. Well, hey, thank you all for joining another Go With Your Palate. We
Thank
hope you
you.
guys enjoyed. We are going to do a part 2 of this
Yeah, we
mid-harvest. Get the harvest update too.
This is a warm up, Joe.
Thank
This
you,
is
John,
a
for being
warm-up.
here.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having
thank
me.
you, J-Lo.
Rubes.
All right, we're starting to pick
Love you, man.
next week, so we're
great.
holding off. We've already picked Sauv Blanc.
Yep.
But we're going to start on Pinot next week. I'm
Excellent.
right now earmarking Tuesday
Yeah.
start day.
I like it.
We could do Monday, but I think we need a little more time. I don't want to rush it.
One more weekend, and then we're
It's
good.
looking like it's shaping up. We got a little heat spike coming, so yeah.
All right.
But
Okay.
more to come at the mid-harvest update.
Love it.
We
Love
will
All
it.
right,
update.
signing off.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.